to manifest everything that I desire.
Right.
And the amazing thing is that becoming fully conscious and aware of everything in our life and the motive, the intention behind it that is mostly subconscious is paramount in our growth. So the first key is to understand that everything we see, everything we do not see is energy, vibrating particles of energy. Everything, vibrating particles of energy. The second key is that the differences between one particle of energy and another, the only difference is between one vibrating particle of energy and another, is the speed at which that particle vibrates. This is the reason that people will say, wow, I really had an affinity to them. I just met them, and yet we're on the same wavelength. We talked for 12 hours straight. We're on the same wavelength. See, there's a part of us that already understands this, right? Why would we say that? We're on the same wavelength. Okay? Key number 3, what determines the outcome, the result in our life, any result, any outcome, is determined by the motive. Motive always determines the result. Motive comes from the word emotion. It is emotion that causes energy to move forward, the momentum behind energy movement patterns, and the speed of energy particles is the motive, or the energy motive, or the emotion. Number 4, there are only 2 source emotions or energy motives for which all thoughts, beliefs, and subsequent actions come from. Everything we get in this world, every other emotion comes from just these 2 sources in the world of duality or polarity, and that is either fear or love. And I've said many times, at any given moment in time, we are a member of one church or the other. It's either love or fear. And we decide that at any given moment. And that, that's just the reality. We all have a lot of areas of our lives to become conscious about. And so there are times when we're in fear. And that's a great time for us to learn how to transform that energy again. So only 2 source emotions, love and fear. Key number 5, even though everything that we fear is an illusion, the energy of fear itself, the emotion of fear itself, is a very, very real and very, very destructive energy. And as an energy, it cannot be denied, it cannot be avoided, it cannot be suppressed, and even greater, it can never be destroyed. Energy can never be destroyed. You cannot release it, you cannot let go of it, you cannot just talk it away, you cannot do positive affirmations to make it go away. You can do a lot of wonderful mechanisms to relieve the anxiety of fear, the pain of fear, temporarily. But as I teach in the Course, fear is programmed genetically into the very cells of our body, because our cells are filled with intelligence. And in next week, we will talk about exactly how we pass these on genetically and how we can change the DNA within our very cells. So that's number 5. Energy cannot be denied, avoided, suppressed without growing them. And it cannot be destroyed. It has to be transformed. Only one way. Very interesting, I overheard an individual working in a very large power plant that was generating electrical energy to send out. And I listened to him shortly after I wrote this process and wrote the manuscript for the Alchem Energy Codex course. And I heard him, he was on the phone talking to somebody on the East Coast, and he said, well, it can't be, you can't suppress it. It can't be suppressed. It has to be, and he's stammering. He goes, it has to be transformed. So on a scientific level, this is an absolute fact. It was he was a scientist, absolutely amazing. I just stood there with my chin on the floor because I had just written this because I was taught by source, by God, that this was so. So it's so amazing to me how we get these confirmations. Key number 6 is that I actually condensed that. So basically, number 5 is the last key. You have to transform energy. You cannot suppress it, deny it, or avoid it. It has to be transformed. It's a very real energy. Now, I want you to focus a little bit. Now, if you want, we can ask or answer the question of Nan if she had a question about those specific ones, Sonia.
Okay, let's do that. Nan, if you don't mind, part of it is that, she sent me a private message. I hope you don't mind me sharing this with Lily, but this is how you learn, Nan, is that some of the information she's getting lost and not understanding. So what parts are you not understanding, Nan, so that Lily can clarify it for you? If you can type it in the chat room, because Nan has a speech impediment, so she'll have to type it into the chat room, and she hasn't done that yet.
Okay.
So it would.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll just have her go ahead and type it, and then we'll get to it. Okay.
Yep. And then we'll get to it as she types it. Yep.
Okay. Great. Now, the reason that this science of energy transformation is so significant to the messages, the signs, the omens, and languages that Source uses to speak to us through ancient indigenous wisdom, through through the Egyptology, through sacred texts, religious texts, through science, through geometry, through mathematics. It's amazing when you begin to understand that each language can be translated into another language, just as music can be translated into mathematics, the way that Beethoven did when he was completely deaf. He was able to create music by the vibrational speed of each one of the notes when they were struck on the piano, and he was able to write incredible compositions even though he was completely deaf because of the speed of each note. And so it's an amazing thing. It's just an absolute amazing thing.